Update. Am I the a-hole for losing my temper at sister-in-law after she ruined the meal I made? Original post. My sister-in-law Ashley is, for lack of a nicer word, obnoxious. She constantly does whatever she wants, even when you ask her not to. She thinks she's right above everyone else, even when she's dead wrong. And she's just got this very stereotypical baby sister attitude where she acts like she can do whatever she wants, and nobody's allowed to be mad at her because she's baby. Yes, that's something she regularly says. My husband says she's the youngest of their family, so her acting that way is normal. But I pointed out I'm the youngest of my family and I've never acted that way. I don't like sister-in-law, but I've been polite and kept a peaceful relationship for my husband's sake. Until today. Today was the first time since 2019 that my husband or I have been able to see our small friend group in person. We all got our shots 2 months ago and decided to meet up finally for dinner. I cooked while our friends either pitched in ingredients, made appetizers, or brought wine. I made pasta ravioli by hand, which was hard. I made enough for me, Hubs, and our friends. But after they arrived and we all caught up, and while I was finishing the food, sister-in-law showed up. She let herself in and greeted everyone happily. They know her and said hi, but I subtly asked Hubs what she was doing here. Turns out he had mentioned the gathering to her, and he guessed she assumed she was invited? I told him to tell her to leave because she can't just invite herself like this. He said that would be humiliating for her and asked if she could stay. I was annoyed, but agreed. Things were fine at the start. I had a few sips of wine to relax and was about to plate everyone's food at a kitchen island to bring it to them, but forgot Parmesan, so went to get it. I heard sister-in-law say she'd help bring the food to the table. I said no thanks and to stay seated. My back was to her and she said something I missed because of the loud clang of a pot hitting the floor. I heard everyone gasp and I closed my eyes. I knew what happened but didn't want to look. When I did, I just started crying. Hours of work splattered on the floor. Sister-in-law said it was okay. It was just some pasta, I'll buy more. I lost it. I called her a stupid witch that ruined the entire dinner because she refuses to listen. She started boo-hooing and I told her to shut up and leave. She ran out crying and I sat down to cry too. Our friends consoled me and Hubs tried to say I went too far, but our friends told him he was an a-hole and sister-in-law was in the wrong. They helped clean and we ordered pizza. But after they left, Hubs and I were flooded with calls from his family saying I was a horrible spoiled brat who made their baby cry over some stupid food. Now I'm just crying and feeling like garbage. Did I go too far? I don't usually get so angry or curse. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Hubs said he understands I'm upset the food was wasted, but he doesn't think my outburst was warranted and was actually kind of extreme. Tomorrow is his off day and I told him he's going to be making the dish like I did, by hand and on his own, and then at the end we'll see if he thinks my outburst was unwarranted. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not the a-hole. This incident was the straw that broke the camel's back. I've made stuffed ravioli a few thousand times and it's always difficult and expensive. It's not just pasta. It's hours and hours of planning, prep, and work that she completely dismissed like it didn't matter. Like you don't matter. That was on top of her barging in when she wasn't invited. Frankly, I think she got off light, and so did your husband. He really needs a reality check. His sister's behavior is not normal and has nothing to do with her being the youngest. Enough is enough. I'm the baby of my family, youngest of all my siblings and cousins. So I'm the youngest. And my family would have looked at me like I'd sprouted another head if I'd ever acted even half as bad as my sister-in-law does. It baffled me when I first saw her parents/older siblings act like it was nothing. I'm the youngest in my family as well, and if anything, it made me act more mature so I could keep up with my older siblings. I hated being referred to as the baby. Not the a-hole. You overreacted in a moment of high temper, but she inserted herself into a dinner uninvited, disregarded the hostess's wishes, and then downplayed her disaster. You had every right to be upset, and she decided to turn the family against you. She's the a-hole. I don't usually flip out like that. I'm very level-headed, but seeing my hours of hard work dumped on the floor just broke me. Since she offered to buy more, hand her an invoice to cover the cost of ingredients plus an hourly charge for how long you spent making them. $50 an hour sounds reasonable, right? Sounds good to me. You never mentioned her actual age? She's 31. Oh geez, you just made my feet curl and cringe. Now first update. Hubs made pasta for the first time today, and it went much like I'd anticipated. He was all confidence and it'll be easy during the first 30 minutes. But towards the end of the first hour, that disappeared as the burn in his arms really set in from making enough dough for almost 60 ravioli. I did not lift a finger to help him knead, since I didn't get any help when I did it. After the dough was done and wrapped up in the fridge, he made a filling which took another 40 or so minutes. Then the dough was brought out and he had to start crafting the ravioli, all by hand after rolling the dough out. Lord, that went on for ages. Just rolling some dough out, cutting out squares, filling them and putting the top on, rinse and repeat until the dough and filling was all gone. All in all, the entire process from start to finish for him on his own took a little over 4 hours. And that's with us not actually cooking any of the ravioli. Also, he didn't make any sauce or cook any shrimp for the ravioli to be served in/with. Also, he didn't prepare any salad to go with it. And when I told him this, that there was still more to do, he almost started crying. He started saying sorry at the 1 hour mark and hasn't stopped apologizing since. We had a long talk about his sister and the dinner she ruined, the other times she's pulled similar incidents, there's a lot, and how him and his family always let her get away with it. He says he knows how they treat her isn't normal and he doesn't like it, but was raised to just go with the flow regarding Ashley. But he said he's going to call her and tell her we need some space from her for now. Second update. Hubs just got a message from his cousin of Ashley laughing and bragging about intentionally spilling the pasta to teach me a lesson for being such a snobby witch. A handful of you all thought she did it on purpose, but I didn't actually think she did until hearing her admit to it. I have never seen my husband this angry before. I don't know what's going to happen now. Now for the final update. Hi everyone. So much has happened since the pasta fiasco that I'd honestly completely forgotten about this account until this morning. When I logged on, I saw that I had a bunch of requests for an update. So here I am. I was going to post this in an edit on my original post, but it ended up being way too long. Someone said I should just post it in the comments, but they're locked, so I decided to just make my own post and put a link to it in the original AITA post since. I'm not sure how to do an official update post on the AITA sub. Sorry. So for the update. Like I said, a lot happened since then. I'll try to remember all of it. But be warned, I'm just going to put down everything as I remember it and try and make it in order. But it's been like 4 months, so I may not do it perfectly. Here goes. So sister-in-law bragged to her and Hub's cousin Brenda that she ruined the dinner on purpose. Hubs went to confront his family. Sister-in-law denied everything till Hubs played a recording. Hubs banned sister-in-law from our house until she apologized to me sincerely and reimbursed us for all the wasted food. Sister-in-law went ballistic, sobbing and throwing a massive tantrum until mother-in-law tried calming her down and scolding Hubs for choosing some floozy over your blood family. Hubs apparently flipped and called out his family on their weird babying of sister-in-law, saying they made her into a spoiled monster. This just started a huge screaming match between all of them, before Hubs said he wasn't speaking to them for the foreseeable future before storming out. That's when he called me and told me to block all of his family. And before I could hang up, I started getting tons of calls/texts from all of them just saying the most hateful stuff to me. All of my socials, from my personal Insta to my work email, were bombarded with hate until I managed to block all of them, but it took weeks for them to all stop. The only people in Hub's family who weren't harassing us were his paternal grandparents, his maternal grandmother, a few of his cousins on both sides, and his paternal aunts/uncles. Actually, I think all of the hate was from his maternal side, though not all of them. After blocking them, all things were peaceful. Until a few weeks later, our friend Kelly's car was vandalized really bad when she stayed at our house for the weekend. I'm talking the sides were keyed. All the tires were slashed, the windows were sprayed painted, and they even tore off the tag and shoved it down into the driver's side door where the window slides down. We checked the doorbell cam and it was sister-in-law and brother-in-law. Seems they mistook Kelly's car for mine since both Kelly and my car are black. I lent my car to my mom since hers needed new tires and I could use Hubs if needed. Needless to say, we called the cops and Kelly pressed charges on both of them. Thankfully, with the video evidence, she said she was able to make a no-fault claim against Ashley, who had insurance, and Kelly got her repairs paid for, though barely. Sister-in-law and brother-in-law getting arrested caused a huge rift in Hub's family, between those who don't think it was necessary that they be arrested, though most think they should have just paid for repairs out of pocket, and those who think they got what was coming to them. Also, the arrest cost brother-in-law his job at a university. Hub's cousin Brenda, who is keeping us in the loop, told us that anyways. We didn't look into it. Lastly, Brenda also informed us that during the whole family drama thing, it was revealed that Ashley is only their half-sister, according to the maternal grandmother anyways. Seems she verbally tore mother-in-law to pieces after mother-in-law insinuated sister-in-law hadn't done anything to deserve this treatment. Brenda said their grandmother said, "You felt bad that your husband didn't love her because he knew she was just your shameful affair baby. So you loved her more than your other kids in some twisted effort to make up for it. And you pulled your other kids into doing it too, and all you did was succeed in spoiling her rotten." Brenda told us more, but that part is what really stuck in my mind. Honestly, hearing all of that was unbelievable for me. I had no idea this level of drama was buried in my husband's family. Then again, neither did he. And all of this snowballed from a ruined ravioli dinner. Hubs and I have decided to distance ourselves from that part of his family for now. After handing Kelly a copy of the video of sister-in-law and brother-in-law tearing up her car, we more or less washed our hands of dealing with them all. And I've been way less stressed lately. Hubs too, that we've both noticed. So, not a terrible end? Not sure who will see this update, but I'll be logging out of this account after a while since I think everything is mostly over. Thanks for reading, and extra thanks for everyone who sent me so many kind messages after my first post. It made me feel a lot better. Wow. Just wow. I figured there would be some drama from sister-in-law, but not her and her own husband nuking their lives like this. I'm sorry that you've had to deal with a soap opera level of drama. Holy moly. Thank you for the update, and I wish you and your husband all the best. Honestly, hearing all of that was unbelievable for me. I had no idea this level of drama was buried in my husband's family. The story went off the rails. I figured it was going to be some family timeout time, and they'd call it a day. Was not expecting a valley of hidden shame. My goodness. At least Ashley got her comeuppance in the end. I wonder if she knew she was an affair baby before this. Lots of drama and psycho behavior. Your poor husband. I can't imagine losing everyone you love because your half-sister is a complete basket case. But she's that way because her mother's shameful secret. Grandma was not playing. Total savage, and I love her for it. Thank God you had people who had your back. And amen for that doorbell camera footage. I can't believe she went that far because she was finally called out on her behavior. I wish you all the best and good luck with your future happiness. You rule. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for having my husband drive me back to shore when I wasn't allowed to fish? I-32 female rented a boat 2 weeks ago to go fishing. My husband suggested we celebrate his birthday at the same time, which is coming right up because he loves boating. I had no problem with it, but the whole rental was originally so I could fish. He invited our mutual friend Greg along, which was no big deal. But it soon turned into Greg driving everywhere and telling us to relax and have a few beers. He refused to sit on one spot for more than 10 to 15 minutes, so I wasn't able to fish at all. Every time I would have a line out for more than 5 minutes, he would ask if we were ready to move on to the next spot. At one point, even bringing us to a crowded sandbar beach where I obviously wasn't able to fish. Roughly 3 hours in, I asked if they could stop driving around so I could do some fishing, and he immediately stopped the boat. No questions asked. But it got really awkward after that. Greg making comments about how he wished he liked to fish, so he could understand the hype of sitting in one single spot while on a boat, because he can't stand it. Heavily sighing and pacing the boat, etc. I know for a fact he wasn't trying to be a prick. He truly just couldn't stand sitting in one spot so that I could fish. So my husband at this point was getting uncomfortable with how awkward Greg was unintentionally making things, and said, "Well, babe, are you about ready to move to the next spot?" At this point, I just asked them to bring me back to shore. Both of them started protesting and apologizing, saying it was fine and we could stay there longer. But at this point, I was so over the entire trip because I didn't get to fish more than 25 minutes at this point. They bring me back to shore, still apologizing, and Greg saying he was sorry for ruining my fishing trip. And I just said it was fine and walked off to my car without saying another word to them. Well, after my husband got home, he was really quiet. And when I asked why, he said that it was a bummer that I chose to leave instead of just enjoying the boat for what it was. He said he understands my frustrations, but he couldn't understand why I took it to a level of ruining my entire day and leaving him on a boat that was meant for us. Greg paid me half of the cost I spent to make up for it too. So now I'm wondering if I'm really in the wrong considering the whole point of me getting the boat was to go fishing. Am I the a-hole? Edited to add, both Greg and my husband knew I rented a boat to fish. My husband even brought his fishing pole but didn't end up using it. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Inviting Greg defeated the entire purpose. Lesson learned, I hope. The boat wasn't for the us he mentioned because Greg was also there. I would understand if it were two couples, but a married couple plus husband's friend is just strange and awkward. Plus, he hijacked your fishing trip. He could have said, or asked, to just enjoy this weekend with him during his birthday and go fishing another time. Edit, he had his fishing pole with him, so he knows how fishing works. He just wanted to get drunk on a boat. It doesn't have to be awkward. My significant other and I have been together for 16 years. We've done camping trips, mini vacays, or day trips with one extra person many times. It's only awkward if you make it awkward. We make a point to be welcoming and chill. That being said, Greg took over the trip, which is rude since he was invited along and didn't take part in planning. If either Opie or her hubby knew Greg was going to want to drive around the whole time, maybe he wouldn't have gotten an invite. Also, if I rented a boat, I'd be the only one driving. I wouldn't be risking anyone being dumb and costing me big bucks paying for damages. So if Greg just took over driving and asked, he's doubly the a-hole. Not the a-hole. You wanted to fish and rented a boat. You weren't able to fish. Letting Greg do the day the way he wanted to do it was a mistake. He was your guest and should have behaved like one. Also, if Greg doesn't like to fish, then he should have declined the invitation. I don't like to fish. I would never say yes to joining someone on a fishing trip. It's like if someone decided to tag along when I was trying to bag a peak, but they hate hiking. Just why? Not the a-hole. Greg is a bad guest. They know your hobby is fishing, right? They know you originally rented a boat to fish, right? They should have been courteous and split up the boat time equally. Also, Greg should take his own advice. Relax, have a few more beers, instead of pacing and complaining like a child. My son will inherit and his affair baby will receive nothing. I'm 26 female and I have a 5-year-old son. My ex-husband, 29, cheated on me with his co-worker, Bethany, 28. I was 2 months pregnant with our second child when I found out, and Bethany was going to have his child. I miscarried and my ex left the house to be with her, and it's been 2 years since the child was born. My mother-in-law has been supportive of me. It has nothing to do with my ex or his mistrust in their child, up until a few months ago. I adore my in-laws and we're extremely close. My mother-in-law and parents are the best of friends. She loves me and her grandson more than anything, and this infuriates my ex-husband's affair partner. My in-laws cut contact with them straight away. Bethany was jealous that her child would never know the love of grandparents, but at least her son has a father. This brings us to the problem. Unfortunately, my mother-in-law has been very ill for a while, and so she's updated her will. My ex-husband was an only child, so he would have gotten everything. But now, my son will inherit her house, villa, and money. I will receive a large portion of her money and all of her belongings. Until my son turns 18, it will be in my trust, and if I pass before that, my parents will take care of it. And they do know this. That is, once they caught wind of her being ill, my ex-husband begged for forgiveness. The mistress started being nice towards her when she's started fights and called her horrible names before, and forced her to be around his baby. My mother-in-law's bedbound, but she says she wants to leave with a bang so she'll endure this. I haven't encouraged her to do anything, and this is her choice alone. They want her money, and her son thinks he's still included in the will. He also thinks his child will now be acknowledged by his grandmother, and will also receive money. Now, my mother-in-law hasn't actually said she's forgiven them. She despises her son and his mistress for tearing apart our family. She wants to reward those who deserve it, and get revenge in one go. The mistress keeps on hinting on how her child will grow up and attend a great college and other money-involved things whenever she's around my mother-in-law. Actually, mother-in-law's niece, my cousin by marriage, has overheard her on the phone discussing what wallpaper she wants in the dining room when she moves in, and how my mother-in-law has no taste whatsoever. She also mentioned how she'll finally be able to take down pictures of my son when my ex owns the house. Too bad for her. It will belong to my son, and no changes will be made until my son becomes 18. It is his grandmother's home, and he should be allowed to cherish it in the way she's decorated it. I'm not really allowed to tell anyone, and though this revenge will be satisfying, I'll have to lose my mother-in-law. It's kind of a win-lose situation, and I dread the day when she'll take her last breath. She means a lot to me. I love her. But she wants this for her grandson, and said that she cannot rest until she knows her son and his mistress have been punished. She wants this because her childhood was also ruined because of her father and his affair partner. She wants my son to know that he was loved and will always be loved. I hope my son will always value the great women in his life, and I wish he had more time with his grandmother. I might make an update if anyone wants it, though I pray to God it's a long time before that. Edit. Thank you all for listening to me and giving me advice. As for those who are angry at me for not asking my mother-in-law to include my ex's new child, I can't do anything about that. Yes, I'm happy and that's selfish, but I'm going to put myself and my son first. That child contributed to my miscarriage, and is one of the reasons why my son has not had a father for over 2 years. I can't change my mother-in-law's mind about him. I do pity the baby, but it's not up to me to fend for it. It's not my responsibility. I've tried talking to my mother-in-law, but she's had her whole childhood ruined by her father, who made his affair children his top priority. This is why she wants nothing to do with it or her son. He knows that she went through so much because of cheaters, yet he decided to do the same to her. He has seen his grandfather favor his aunt and uncle over his mother. If this happened to you, you wouldn't be so happy about sharing yet another thing with a baby. Thank you again to those who have listened to me, and I've read out the nice comments to my mother-in-law. We've had a great laugh together. The mistress would send me photos of her ultrasounds after I miscarried, either to me or to my family. In the first envelope, she sent a letter full of the nastiest things about me, my son, and my miscarried baby. She'd even tagged me in social media on an account I didn't know about. It was an invitation to her baby shower. She has done plenty of disgusting and hurtful things to me regarding my miscarried baby. The people who are coming at me in the comments would not be as civil as me if anything like that happened to them. Ignoring her child is honestly the best option. I do not want my son to grow up with her son. And to those who are insulting and saying rude things about my dying mother-in-law, you are truly disgusting. Now for the top comments. I'm sorry that this situation is bittersweet though. I hope your mother-in-law gets better. Thank you. I hope she gets better too. Imagine if the mother-in-law gets better and the true colors of your ex and the affair partner come back out now that the inheritance is a long way off. Please have the will overlooked for the lawyer just in case he contests it and to prevent any loopholes. Yes, she's had that done by 2 separate lawyers, and my ex-husband willingly gave me full custody of our son, so he shot himself in the leg. As soon as she passes, your ex is going to be in that house and trying to establish himself. Ask the lawyers how to mitigate that, because you will be grieving and shouldn't have to endure that right then. Mistress and your ex will absolutely not last when they realize they are not getting the house. Divorce within a year of finding out, I reckon. They aren't married, though I hear she's been wanting it from the moment my scummy ex left my doorstep. I'm in contact with some of my ex's colleagues, and the amount of crap they tell me makes me laugh. A few things are a bit sad, but they deserve it, not gonna lie. Nothing life-threatening or to do with health, obviously, thank God, because they still have a kid to look after. Mistress has a bit of a money-spending problem, a large problem actually, and they have lots of fights over it. Her parents hate my ex for not allowing their precious child to spend more. He complains about this at work to some of his friends. He's had an emotional affair with someone in his office because he thinks the mistress has been cheating on him too, as in sleeping around. They can't trust one another. Still, what comes around goes around, though I hope they can resolve this for the sake of the kid. Sometimes the stupid loser whines at work about how he should have never left me for his mistress. But then again, he says he's glad he left our son behind. Next story. My dad wants to rebuild our relationship, but I have no interest in him. My 25 male father has always favored my sister. Not only does the family call him out on it, he admits to it. His defense is that my sister looks so much like our late mother that he can't help but spoil her. My sister caught on this and used it to her advantage. If she wanted something from the store, all she had to say was please dad, and he would get it for her. If I asked for something, my dad would ask me what I've done to deserve it. And if I couldn't think of something good I did recently, I didn't get it. Whenever my sister did something bad, she would begin to cry and dad would easily forgive her. If I did something bad, I always had to face the full consequences. Dad would leave work and come get my sister from school for anything as small as a splinter. While I could be throwing up and dad would say he couldn't leave work, and I had to tough it out. I tried so hard to earn his love and attention, but nothing worked. I tried excelling at school, I tried acting out, and I even forced myself to get into his hobbies in hopes we would bond that way. The day I gave up is the day I found out how little my dad cared about me. I was turning 15. The plan was for me, my dad, sister, uncle, and 2 friends to go on an arcade that was a 2-hour drive away. The day before my birthday, my sister got the sniffles, and Dad said she was in no condition to travel, and we would have to cancel the trip. I tried to convince him to leave her with our grandparents, but he didn't want to leave her to suffer alone, so he told me to call my friends and tell them, while he went and called my uncle. After we walked away, I went and cried my eyes out. About a gallon of tears later, I got a call from my uncle telling me not to worry. He would take us to the arcade. I ended up having a great time and forgot all about my dad and sister. But when I got back and my sister saw all my prizes, she asked if she could have one. I said sorry, no, these are from my birthday trip. Later, my dad came to me and told me it would be nice if I gave my sister something. I replied with something along the lines of, you know what would be nice? If you didn't try to cancel my birthday over my sister's runny nose. My dad called me selfish and said my sister's health was more important and I would be a good big brother if I gave her something. I still didn't give her anything. After that incident, I gave up on my father and just focused on those who actually cared for me. My father either didn't notice or didn't care. As long as he had my sister, that's all he needed. He didn't start caring until it made him look bad in the public eye. My senior year, the band had an award ceremony. I didn't even bother asking my dad to attend. Instead, I asked my aunt and uncle. My dad didn't notice until he saw not only the family post on Facebook, but the school as well. A lot of the comments on the post were asking why my dad wasn't there, so he confronted me and asked why I hadn't told him. Said he would have loved to go. I replied, in all the years of me winning awards, you've never showed up to support me. Why would I expect you to start now? Later, I find out from my cousin that my dad called my uncle to fuzz at him for taking his place, and my uncle told him the same thing I did. For a brief moment of my life, my dad seems to start caring about me, but then my sister won a sports award and he forgot about me again. I moved on, went to college, and made a life for myself. I saw my dad every now and then, but our relationship stayed the same. Then, one day, my dad's worst fear came true. My sister moved on from him. She moved across the state to be near her boyfriend and his family. My dad cried to anyone who would listen. He would say how he's alone and has no one, but his obsession with my sister not only drove me away, but everyone else in the family as well. He showed up to my house one day and wanted to talk. He wanted to try and fix our relationship and have father-son bond. He said he didn't mean to mistreat me and that he just misses our mom so much. And my sister was all he had left of her, so that's why he acted that way. That's when I pointed out that I'm our mother's child as well. And he basically just told me he didn't see me as his child. He tried to backtrack and say that's not what he meant, but I wasn't having it. I told him I had no interest in him or having a relationship with him. He'll still try to get involved with me every now and then, but I keep him at an arm's length. I feel that it's too late to repair all the damage he has done. Wow. So I guess you weren't your mother's child too, since your sister is all he had left? Glad to move on. You were a kid who lost a mom and a dad in a sense, and there's no coming back from that. Out of curiosity, do you still talk to your sister? Not much. I'll text her to check up every now and then, but that's it. I also had a sister who was daddy's little girl, whereas I was daddy's other daughter. And he doesn't understand why now at 23, I still absolutely do not desire any type of relationship with him. You don't owe him anything, and don't have to reconcile if you don't want to. Do what makes you happy, nothing less than that. I really don't get parents who are like that. I dated a girl who was a daddy's little girl, and she told me how much her father favored her over her siblings, and he'd even frequently say to all of them that she was the favorite. For example, if he bought them chocolate or anything, he'd always give more to her and say that's because she's the favorite. It baffled me that she also thought it was normal, and she didn't see anything wrong with it. She had a younger brother and 2 older ones. He'd also severely beat all her brothers, but he'd never even be harsh with her. Only her mother would try to discipline her, but the father would stop it. The funniest thing is that she said that she agreed in physically beating children as a form of discipline. Like, no wonder, you were never the one being beaten. The mom did not beat her or any of their other children though. Last story. I am not the mother. I'm 43 female and recently married a man, 45 male, who has 3 kids, 12 male, 10 female, and 7 male, from a previous relationship with his ex, 42 female. My ex-husband of 8 years had a degenerative disease. We weren't able to have children, and he eventually succumbed. I was ecstatic about being a stepmom. I was determined not to be that stepmom. I wouldn't demand that the children call me mom and accept me as mom from the get-go. They should take their time. Well, they absolutely hate being told anything by me. I can't enforce chores without being told I'm the worst person in the world. Husband even told me to stop being harsh to them. And just because I married him, it doesn't give me the authority. I worked my butt off to help 12 male with a science fair project, but I wasn't allowed to attend his presentation because his bio mom wanted to go. I bought 7 male the plushie he wanted, and bio mom went off on me for taking the experience away from her, and husband took her side. 10 female absolutely hates everything about me. My voice, my mannerisms, my existence. She isn't shy about that either and will let me know. And husband says it's because I'm trying too hard to be her mother, when I'm not. I feel a crippling amount of anxiety when it's our turn with them. I feel like I'm unwanted in my own home. I brought this up with my husband, and he got mad at me and told me to get over myself and that I am not the mother. I am not the mother. Okay, so I cooked for myself only. My cooking is nothing to scoff at. I went to chef school in my home country. I specialized in several types of ethnic cuisine. I worked at fine dining restaurants. And when husband complained, I said that maybe bio mom should have packed some food for them because I am not the mother. I am washing my own dishes and my own dishes only. I clean my own space and do my own laundry because I am not the mother. I don't enforce chores because I am not the mother. The children need help with math and languages. I said that maybe husband should pay for a tutor because I'm not the mother. Finally, he told me I'm being petty and I lost it. I said that they do expect me to be the mother, but only on the boring or difficult things. I am not allowed any of the fun or rewarding parts of being a mother. They're using me and I'm done with it. He apologized and said that he didn't mean it that way. So I asked what exactly he meant. And he said he doesn't know, but is really sorry and he will try to do better from now on. But that he can't do this without me. Now I don't know what to do. Edit, I will do my best to reply to everyone. In short, yes, I rushed my marriage. My sweet and loving ex-husband left this world far too early, leaving me heartbroken and lonely. Then comes this guy offering me a full family, full of life. I was a fool. I'll be looking for a therapist, possibly a lawyer. I'm overwhelmed with all the support. I'll be thinking long and deep how to proceed. Thanks to all of you. Now for the comments. I nearly posted asking if he married you to be the nanny, but I'm sure that if the nanny tried to enforce a rule, he'd back her up. Genuinely, you are married to a man who is not your partner and does not have your back. Maybe some couples counseling sessions to try and work out what you need from each other going forward, or maybe you need a better spouse. And to be honest, if you want bio kids, this sounds like a really fraught situation to bring one into. I think he feels guilty for splitting up their family and tries to make sure he always takes their side no matter what. Bio mom is extremely competitive towards me. She's very eager to let me do the boring things she can't be asked to, but thinks I'm invading her territory if I try to do anything fun with the kids. She loves getting praised for how well the kids do in math, but she never lifted a finger to help them. She's awful at math, so I did it all. But then I'm told I'm wrong and overstepping if I expect any acknowledgement for that. If he feels guilty for splitting up the family, that's on him. He needs to support his actual wife and not let his kids verbally mistreat you. They don't have to like you, but they shouldn't be allowed to be so combative. It sounds like him and ex both are treating you like a live-in maid. Dad should be tutoring his kids. During their stay at her house, Dad should be the doing person because, as he said, you're not the mom, you're not the parent. They're the children of your husband, and during his time with them, he should be fully in charge of all things kid-related. Laundry, meals, homework, entertainment, bedtime, you name it. And it's Dad's job. I'd go so far as to be away as much as possible when the kids are there. Shopping, visiting, library time, whatever. Just away. Too many women who marry men with kids get those kids dumped on them without any authority attached. Enough already. He even insisted that I stay at home to care for the kids. I did it because I really like kids. I made a huge mistake.